Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. My name is Rocky, and this review will be for the 5th episode of the new show Gotham. After my review, I will be having a geek out about the Venom drug, so definitely stick around for that. Going to go ahead and jump into what I liked about this episode. We continue to see the dynamic of Bullock and Gordan growing, where Bullock is actually starting to kind of care a little bit more about Gordan, kind of asks about his personal life, things like that, as well as does buy him a cheeseburger. Unfortunately, it does get tossed to the ground as we do see Selina Kyle briefly, and you see that look on Gordan's face. His eyes are just so wide because he wants to get her back because she made him kind of look bad because he lost her while she was in his custody. So it's just a brief scene with her, but it is nice seeing Selina Kyle back as well, and knowing that she is still around. Makes me wonder, was she still keeping an eye on Gordan and just happened to find a pocket to pick, or was she trying to pickpocket and Gordan just happened to be there? I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic with those two characters as well. Some other things that I liked about this episode, we see Edward Nygma in the police station, and you can just see the look of glee on his face as, the city's basically going through chaos right now with this drug Venom, or excuse me, Viper, and you just see it. He's so fascinated with this drug, and it just gives so much more to his character and makes you wonder, what's going to make him tip to becoming a villain. So that was really great development there. We haven't seen too much of him yet, so we saw a little bit more of him in this episode. So that was really great to see. We do have the introduction of the drug Viper, and the special effects used were pretty good for a television show. They were pretty solid special effects. We find out this drug is basically enhancing people's strength, but at the cost of calcium within their bones. So they're kind of trying to give a scientific kind of reasoning for what happens with this drug. So that was an interesting take on it. I'll talk more about the Viper Venom drug later on in the Geek Out, but again, the special effects were good, and we actually do get that sense of, oh wow, okay, we may be seeing people with, potential superpowers in this show. Maybe we won't, maybe this is the only one. I don't know, either way, it was definitely a nice touch to see. Some other things that were good, we see Bruce putting his detective skills to practice even more. And through the show, through this episode, you see Alfred kind of evolve as well. In the beginning of it, he's kind of, throwing it off as that Bruce is wasting his time, things like that. But then by the end of the episode, he's right on board with Bruce. Bruce does give a, pretty key line where Alfred's asking him about, what if you'll never have your revenge, basically. And Bruce is like, I don't want revenge. I want to understand how Gotham works. Because he's starting to see some, connections with the Arkham Project, with these various mobsters, and wondering, is Wayne Enterprises, dealing with the mob? So that's kind of where his arc is going right now, is trying to see everything that's going on behind the scenes to understand how Gotham works so he can better figure out how to fix it, basically. And, it looks like he's going to start with, his parents' company. So that was very, very solid scenes with Bruce in this episode. He was in it more than he's been in a lot of the other episodes, as far as appearance-wise, but they're very impactful scenes, so definitely enjoyed those moments as well. The only thing I can say that I maybe kind of didn't like too much is there's a moment where Gordan gets taken away by one of Maroni's men from the police station, and it kind of struck me as odd that no one, stopped this or commented on it. Makes me wonder if Bullock saw this happen, and that's why he asked about, how Gordan was later on in the episode. As Maroni's one of the big bosses, so you figure the police will know who works for him, who doesn't work for him. So that leads into, Gordan's secret is starting to unravel right now, due to Penguin revealing his information to Maroni. Maroni, in turn, like I said, had Gordan picked up to verify Penguin's story. So now Maroni knows what happened and that Penguin's still alive. So now he's going to hold that over Gordan and call in a favor later on. So kind of a really good scene, but again, it was kind of off with how no one kind of questioned or stopped Gordan being taken. But again, you can attribute that to the corruptness of the Gotham PD. We do get a little advancement in Fish Mooney's story, where she's starting to refine her weapon, and we see that towards the end of the episode. As well as she's working another angle with one of her fellow mobsters. So she's got a couple different avenues she's exploring. So we see that she definitely has some tactical skills as far as putting plans into motion. But I still think she's quite a bit crazy. But it'll be interesting to see where her story goes from here. So, not really much that I didn't like about the episode. This was one of the more solid episodes, I felt. It introduced some different ideas with the Viper drug, which is also referenced as stage 1 of Venom in this episode. We get the dynamic now that, well, perhaps Wayne Enterprises may be behind the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne. We can talk about that more down in the comments if you guys would like. So that's going to be the wrap up the review at this time. So if you like this video, I definitely ask that you go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share the video. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel because I will be doing weekly reviews of Gotham as well as the other DC and Marvel television shows on at this time. So right now we're going to go ahead and transfer right into the Geek Out moment where I'm going to talk a little bit more about the drug Viper/Venom introduced in this episode. So the Venom drug in the comics was created by a scientist who was basically working with some other scientists, and they were all trying to create this strength-enhancing drug for use with the military, as well as some other applications. Now, this particular scientist actually created a mental version of Venom that increased his intelligence by sacrificing his emotions. This drug that enhances mental abilities isn't really referenced anywhere else in the comics that I've seen. So it's kind of just a one-off thing that he had to use in order to create Venom. Now, Venom itself in the comics drastically enhances a person's strength. It's kind of like a super steroid, is a way to look at it. But it has a severe crash afterwards. You have to constantly be taking the drug in order to not crash. And the crash basically would reduce you down to, your normal strength that you had or lower, but it severely deteriorates the body. Now, in the comics, Batman himself was actually addicted to Venom for a time, as he was basically feeling a lot of self-doubt because he was fighting these villains. Some of them, was super strength, super invulnerability, things like that, and it was kind of taking its toll on him mentally. So there was a time he was addicted to this drug. He did kick the habit once he figured out exactly what was going on with it. Then we see it appear later on in the comics in the form of Bane. Now, Bane was a prisoner in a Santa Prisca prison, and he was basically chosen to test out this drug. Reason being is he was basically becoming the leader of the prison and the inmates, and the people that ran the prison didn't necessarily like this, so they volunteered him for this program to test out this drug, hoping basically that it would kill him. Well, it did the opposite. He actually lived through the procedure, and it worked very well within his system. Now, Bane is most famous in the comics for the act of basically breaking Batman's back. And the way he used Venom is that he had a mask and a tube that went from his wrist, which is where the Venom was stored, as it does basically go right into the brain as the way that it's used in the comics. So that's where his trademark mask and everything comes from. This is a little bit different than the Bane that was presented in The Dark Knight Rises. So with this, it looks like they're going to go, with Gotham, it looks like they're going for more of the traditional comics, superhero, supervillain, superpower aspect as opposed to a grounded version like the Nolan films. a little off track, but let's go back to talk a little bit more about Bane and Venom. So, basically what Bane does is he has this Venom in him, and then when he needs an extra boost, he presses the button and gets a boost of even more super strength. But again, it severely deteriorates his body. There's scenes where basically he gets all decrepit and looks almost old, just with the breakdown in his body. So it's a very, very strong and addictive drug. It kind of surprises me that they're introducing something like this so early in Gotham, but I do like the idea that it's a subsidiary of Wayne Enterprises that created it. As I mentioned briefly, it brings up the idea that perhaps Wayne Enterprises is behind the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne. It kind of leads strength to this theory in this episode where they talk about that, Wayne Enterprises was basically already working out a deal with the military, and Thomas and Martha Wayne did not want this to happen, so they nixed the drug. So that was a lot of money that they were going to lose. So, that supports the theory maybe they were behind the death. So who does that mean the assassin was? If it was Wayne Enterprises, you're probably looking at it was a complete outsider. I don't think they would have Bane be the killer, but it is possible, as he is older than Batman in the comics, but not by much. So I'm hoping they're not going to try and introduce Bane this early into Gotham. I'm hoping this is just a beginning reference that maybe they'll build on in subsequent seasons. So that's just some extra information about the drug Venom, as well as the character Bane that's, most strongly associated with that drug. So hopefully you like this Geek Out. Let me know in the comments below any questions you have about the episode or Venom, Bane, anything like that. I'll be more than happy to go over that information with you guys. I'll put some information in the description below as far as some resources to look up some information on Bane and what particular comics happened in regards to Batman's abuse of this drug, as well as some Bane information and some information on Venom itself. So I'll put that in the descriptions for you guys. That way you can take a look at it when it's convenient for you. So I hope you like this video again, and definitely hope you like this Geek Out. I do like these sessions where it kind of gives a little bit more information, as it kind of feeds my inner geek as well. So definitely go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and share to your friends, family, anyone you think might be interested in it. And I would greatly appreciate if you guys go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Again, there'll be an annotation above for you to go ahead and click and get that done, as I want to continue having these conversations with you guys about these shows, as well as some of the extra information and questions you guys have. So definitely leave anything in the comments below you'd like some more information on. That being said, hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Bye.